In this relentless modern life, have you ever felt caught in an invisible web where relentless worries, crushing pressures, and a barrage of information constantly pull you in every direction? That's precisely the unseen web we're talking about, a complex network of subtle energies. These are things you can't physically touch, can't visually perceive, yet you distinctly feel their presence. Imagine, if you will, a fish somehow lost in the desert, flopping frantically, desperately seeking water, but all around it is nothing but sand and scorching heat. See, it doesn't see the water, but it profoundly feels its absence. Similarly, we often remain oblivious to the negative energies that surround and permeate us, yet they manifest as pervasive stress, nagging anxiety, and worst of all, endless nights of tossing and turning. This isn't some mystical hocus pocus. It's a fundamental truth about how our consciousness interacts with its immediate environment. These energies aren't just external, they don't solely originate from social media, the daily news cycle, or those draining conversations. Oh no, they also spring from within you. They are the ceaseless stream of thoughts, the self critical judgments, the gnawing worries about an uncertain future, or the lingering regrets about a past that can't be changed. They swirl and eddy like an internal storm in your mind, relentlessly disturbing your innate calm. Do you remember that sensation when your phone vibrates furiously with dozens of notifications, even though you've desperately tried to put it down? Our minds are much the same. They constantly vibrate with unnecessary information, relentlessly eroding our inherent stillness. Recognizing and truly understanding the role of these unseen energies is the absolutely critical first step to disentangling yourself from that sticky web and discovering genuine inner peace. Consider those mornings when you wake up feeling utterly drained, even after what should have been a full night's rest, or those moments when you feel inexplicably exhausted with no clear physical cause. These can be the telltale signs that you're trapped in that web of negative energies. We exist in a world where everything is interconnected, from the faintest vibrations in the air to the most fleeting thoughts in your mind. For instance, a single negative comment from someone can leave you feeling heavy and sluggish for the entire day. Or doom scrolling through pessimistic news right before bed can render your mind incapable of finding quiet. So, how do you liberate yourself from the pervasive influence of these energies and finally attain deep sleep? First, you must acknowledge their very existence. It's like trying to turn off a light when you don't even know where the switch is. Once you recognize that your persistent stress anxiety or insomnia might originate from these unseen energies, you've effectively begun the quest for your own personal switch. Have you ever pondered why some individuals seem perpetually serene, even amidst the most chaotic circumstances? They aren't superhuman. Instead, they've simply mastered the art of identifying and releasing negative energies before those energies can take deep roots within their psyche. Ancient spiritual teachings, particularly those from Zen Buddhism, have expounded upon these energies for millennia. They label them as afflictions, attachments, or illusions. These terms might sound esoteric or far removed, but they are simply ancient ways of describing the invisible cords that bind us. Imagine yourself trying to swim in a pool filled not with water, but with thick, viscous honey. Every movement becomes incredibly heavy and arduous. Negative energies are precisely like that, honey. They make your life feel cumbersome, which in turn directly impacts the quality of your sleep. A mind that is still unperturbed by this invisible honey will effortlessly drift into a state of profound rest where both body and mind can truly rejuvenate and restore themselves. This isn't merely a passive storytelling experience, it's a transformative journey where you will rediscover your authentic self, a lighter, more peaceful version of who you truly are. Imagine yourself strolling through a traditional Zen garden. Every element is meticulously placed, from the perfectly raked gravel to the verdant moss patches, yet nothing feels arbitrary. Each component plays a vital role in crafting a serene space, inviting contemplation and introspection. However, if you were to bring along a portable speaker, blaring aggressive rock music, and a gasoline powered leaf blower, that pristine Zen garden would instantly transform into an anarchic mess, and any semblance of peaceful energy would simply vanish into thin air. Our lives are remarkably similar. Our mind is that garden, and these negative, unseen energies are precisely the cacophonous elements that create disturbance and chaos. Consider your typical workday. You wake up perhaps immediately scrolling through news feeds brimming with sensational headlines about disasters, traffic gridlock, and heated political skirmishes. These are the insidious seeds of stress being sown directly into the fertile ground of your mind. Then you arrive at the office, confronted by an avalanche of deadlines, a relentless torrent of emails, and perhaps a colleague who specializes in spreading negative gossip. Little by little, incrementally, your energy is siphoned away, leaving you depleted. By the end of the day, you return home with a head that feels as heavy as lead, yearning to burrow under the covers, yet finding yourself utterly unable to sleep. That's because your inner garden is overflowing with the noise generated by those unseen energies. So, how does one meticulously clear this internal garden? Ancient Buddhist masters taught that to achieve true peace, we must meticulously practice mindfulness, the conscious, deliberate attention to each unfolding moment. It sounds deceptively simple, doesn't it? Yet it's extraordinarily challenging in a world that constantly drags us into the future or pulls us back into the past. Imagine you are washing dishes. Instead of mentally rehearsing your electricity bill or replaying that argument with your boss, try to focus completely on the sensation of the warm water, the subtle scent of the soap, the gentle clinking of dishes. Initially, your mind will leap and bound like a drunken monkey, but gradually you will perceive a profound stillness seeping into every single action. That is how you begin to meticulously cleanse your garden, one tiny step at a time. Furthermore, we absolutely must learn to identify and systematically eliminate the toxic waste that we permit into our minds. If you consistently binge watch horror films right before sleep or immerse yourself in pessimistic narratives, then it should come as no surprise when you're plagued by nightmares or restless nights. Just as you cannot consume spoiled food and expect a healthy stomach, you cannot continually ingest negative information and expect a peaceful mind. Begin to consciously filter what you allow into your mind. This isn't about avoidance, it's about intelligent self preservation. It's about building a strong immune system for your mind. To genuinely transform this internal landscape, we need to understand that every interaction, every thought, every emotion, whether internal or external, contributes to this unseen web. Think of it like an invisible ecosystem. When you consume, mindlessly react impulsively, or dwell on grievances, you're essentially introducing invasive species into your delicate inner garden. They compete for resources, crowd out the native flora of peace and joy, and eventually they take over, leaving you depleted and stressed. The goal isn't to build an impenetrable fortress around your mind, but rather to cultivate an internal environment so robust and healthy that negative energies simply cannot take root. This cultivation involves several key practices. Firstly, mindful breathing. This isn't just a relaxation technique, it's a direct line to your inner calm. When you feel the tendrils of stress begin to tighten their grip, or when the frantic monkey mind starts its acrobatics, simply return to your breath. A slow, deep, intentional breath acts like a gentle broom sweeping away the mental clutter. It's a physiological reset button. As you inhale, imagine drawing in pure, calming energy. As you exhale, visualize releasing all the tension, all the worries, all the unseen energetic debris. This simple yet profound act can transform your immediate experience, bringing you back to the present moment where peace naturally resides. Secondly, conscious consumption of information. In our hyper-connected world, we are constantly bombarded. Every notification, every headline, every viral video is vying for your attention and your energy. It's like standing under a perpetual waterfall of data. You wouldn't drink from a polluted stream, would you? Then why allow a constant flow of mental pollution into your mind? Be discerning. Curate your digital diet. Choose to engage with content that uplifts, educates, or inspires, rather than that which agitates, frightens, or drains. This isn't about avoidance. It's about intelligent self-preservation. It's about building a strong immune system for your mind. Thirdly, the subtle art of letting go. This is where the humorous, self-deprecating side of Zen truly shines. We humans are masters of attachment. We cling to our opinions, our possessions, our past mistakes, and our future expectations as if our lives depend on them. We clutch them so tightly that our hands cramp, our shoulders ache, and our minds race, wondering if we're holding on tight enough. But what if the very act of clinging is what causes the suffering? What if the path to lightness is simply to unclench your fists and let go? Imagine a squirrel meticulously hoarding nuts for the winter, only to find it's collected so many it can barely move, let alone enjoy them. Or a person so obsessed with finding the perfect pair of socks that they miss their train. We do this with our worries. We hoard them, we cling to them, we analyze them from every angle as if by sheer mental force we can control an unpredictable universe. Zen masters might chuckle at our earnest absurdity. They'd point out that the river flows not because it tries to flow, but because it simply is. It releases the water it carries, allowing it to move forward. Letting go isn't about apathy or resignation. It's about recognizing the futility of fighting the current. It's about surrendering to the natural flow of life, trusting that you have the internal resources to adapt to whatever comes. This doesn't mean you stop making efforts. It means you make efforts with a profound sense of ease, without the desperate need for a specific outcome. When you stop white-knuckling your way through life, your energy, which was once bound by tension and resistance, is suddenly freed. It can flow naturally, nourishing every part of your being, leading to a profound sense of calm and a deeply restorative sleep. It's the ultimate paradox. The more you let go, the more energy you gain. This paradox is perhaps one of the most liberating truths you'll encounter. We're taught from a young age that more effort equals more gain. And while that's true for building a skyscraper or running a marathon, it's often counterproductive when it comes to inner peace. Trying harder to force relaxation or force sleep is like trying to push a string. It just bunches up and becomes more tangled. The art of non striving, of allowing rather than forcing, is revolutionary. It's the difference between wrestling with a slippery eel and simply letting it swim through your open hands. Your energy, once expended in futile wrestling, is now available for genuine living. Think about the sheer volume of mental energy you spend each day trying to control things that are fundamentally beyond your control. The weather, other people's opinions, global news events, even your own past. It's like trying to bail out the ocean with a teacup. Exhausting, isn't it? The Zen approach says stop bailing, let the ocean be the ocean. Focus instead on the calm within your own boat. This radical acceptance frees up an enormous reservoir of your vital life force. This released energy isn't just for inner peace, it spills over into all areas of your life, making your interactions more genuine, your creativity more vibrant, and your problem solving abilities sharper. To genuinely transform this internal landscape, we need to understand that every interaction, every thought, every emotion, whether internal or external, contributes to this unseen web. Think of it like an invisible ecosystem. When you consume, mindlessly react impulsively, or dwell on grievances, you're essentially introducing invasive species into your delicate inner garden. They compete for resources, crowd out the native flora of peace and joy, and eventually they take over, leaving you depleted and stressed. The goal isn't to build an impenetrable fortress around your mind, but rather to cultivate an internal environment so robust and healthy that negative energies simply cannot take root. This involves understanding that peace isn't found in a magic pill or a remote monastery, but in the mundane, in the everyday. It's in the careful preparation of your tea, the mindful walking to your mailbox, the full, unadulterated presence you bring to a conversation. Each of these moments, when approached with awareness and a willingness to let go of distraction, becomes a tiny act of self reclamation, a subtle yet powerful step in building your inner sanctuary. It's like adding one small smooth stone to a pile each day. Eventually, you build a sturdy wall against the prevailing winds of chaos. The promise of this journey is not a life devoid of challenges. That would be a rather dull and unrealistic existence, wouldn't it? Instead, it's a life where challenges are met with grace, where setbacks become opportunities for growth, and where every sunrise feels like a fresh invitation to thrive rather than just another battle to endure. It's about moving from being the fish flopping hopelessly in the desert to being the wise old tortoise unhurriedly navigating its path, knowing that the oasis is not a distant dream, but a state of being cultivated from within. So, as you prepare to surrender to the wisdom of these ancient teachings, remember that the goal is not to become a perfect Zen master overnight. That's just another form of attachment, another trap for the monkey mind. It's about taking small, consistent steps, one mindful breath, one conscious choice, one moment of letting go at a time. Each step, no matter how tiny, adds to the clearing of your inner garden, making space for the true, vibrant energy that is already your birthright. This is your journey towards genuine peace, restorative sleep, and a life lived with unwavering vitality. Let the wisdom unfold and watch as the unseen web begins to unravel, leaving behind a clear path to tranquility. You remember that desert lost fish from the last section, right? It struggled because it was desperately trying to find what it needed in the wrong place. Our minds are much the same, but instead of a desert, it often transforms into a circus, and you, the ringmaster, have foolishly let a drunken monkey run the show. That, my friends, is the monkey mind, a classic Buddhist metaphor for the untamed psyche, leaping ceaselessly from one thought to another, from one worry to the next, making it utterly impossible for you to find peace, let alone a decent night's sleep. This monkey isn't inherently malicious. It's simply the natural inclination of the mind when it lacks direction. It'll dance on your last nerve, swinging wildly from past regrets to future anxieties, munching on worries, and flinging bananas of dread right into your face. It can be remarkably creative in concocting worst case scenarios, transforming a minor scratch into an impending catastrophe or a casual remark into a profound personal insult. And you poor soul sit there dragged along in its emotional vortex, feeling utterly drained without understanding why. Perhaps you've experienced this. You lie in bed, desperately trying to sleep, but that monkey decides to launch its exclusive late night entertainment program, replaying embarrassing moments from the day or screening a horror movie about what might happen tomorrow. The result: a night of restless tossing and turning, and a morning waking up utterly depleted, as if you'd just run a transcontinental marathon in your dreams. So, how do you even begin to tame this hyperactive primate? The first step, as you now know, is identification. It's like trying to train an animal without knowing where it is or what it's doing. Take a moment, just a moment, to observe your mind. You don't need to try and stop it. That'll just make the monkey jump even more wildly. Just observe. You might notice it swinging from thinking about paying the electricity bill to wondering if you locked the front door to agonizing over why you said that to your boss 3 years ago. Every single thought, every single worry is a leap from the monkey. The crucial part here is to suspend judgment. The monkey isn't bad, it's merely doing what it's programmed to do. Judging it is just feeding it another banana. Instead, approach it with curiosity and a touch of humor. Oh, my monkey's currently worried about me potentially forgetting to turn off the lights again. How adorably concerned it is about my utility bill. By doing this, you start to create a tiny but significant space between yourself and your thoughts. You are no longer the monkey, and you are no longer dragged along by its antics. You are the observer. Remember that desert fish example. It struggled because it was trying to find water in the wrong place. Our monkey mind is similar. It struggles because it tries to find safety, control, and fulfillment in the wrong place, in a relentless stream of thought, in analyzing every conceivable scenario. But true peace isn't about controlling every thought. It's about realizing that you don't have to believe every thought the monkey flings at you. It's about understanding that thoughts are merely suggestions, not commandments written in stone. You wouldn't let a particularly enthusiastic, if misguided street vendor convince you to buy a bridge to nowhere, would you? So why let every random thought lead you down a path of anxiety? Zen or meditation isn't some arcane discipline reserved for monks on mountaintops. It's a crash course for your monkey mind, a surprisingly humorous, yet profound manual for teaching it to sit still or at least not knock everything over. The basic Zen principles might sound ridiculously simple, but their effectiveness is astonishing. Principle 1: the breath is the leash. The monkey often leaps erratically because it lacks an anchor. Your breath is that anchor. It's the gentle yet firm leash to tether it. When you feel your mind beginning to spin, simply return your attention to your breath. You don't need to breathe in a special way. Just notice the natural flow of air, the sensation of it entering and leaving your body. Every time the monkey tries to leap away, you gently pull it back with your attention to your breath. At first, it will resist. It will whine, shriek, and even try to convince you there are far more important things to think about. But what about that awkward thing you said in 2007? It might chatter. And the email you forgot to send, the world will end. But with persistent patience, it will gradually learn that the breath is where it can find stillness. It's not about stifling the monkey, but guiding it. Principle 2: the beauty of doing nothing. In a world constantly demanding that we do something, Zen offers a counterintuitive idea. Sometimes the most effective thing you can do is nothing at all. Sounds insane, right? Like your house is on fire, and instead of grabbing a bucket, you just sit down to meditate. But here, doing nothing means not trying to control your thoughts, not trying to immediately solve every problem in your head. It's simply allowing things to be observing and trusting that your mind can find its own equilibrium if you stop interfering. Like a muddy glass of water, you don't need to stir it to make it clear. You just need to let it settle, and the sediment will naturally fall to the bottom. This radical non action in the face of mental clutter is incredibly liberating. It's like discovering the off switch for the internal chatter without having to battle the monkeys to flip it yourself. They just eventually run out of steam and settle down. Principle 3: embrace all noise. The monkey in your mind doesn't just create thoughts, it reacts to every external noise. The blare of a car horn, a dog barking, a child crying, all become drama in its circus. Zen teaches you to embrace these noises as part of life rather than fighting against them. If you try to push noise away, you only create more tension. Instead, hear them, but don't let them stick to you. Imagine you're a bouncer at an exclusive club for sounds. You let them in, you let them out, but you don't let them set up a permanent residence in your brain. You acknowledge their presence. Oh, that's a very loud car horn, but you don't engage in a mental wrestling match with them. When you stop assigning meaning to them, they lose their power to disturb you. This is how you begin to transform your chaotic circus into a tranquil monastery. The world outside will always be noisy, but your internal world doesn't have to be. Taming the monkey mind requires infinite patience and a healthy dose of self deprecating humor. You won't achieve it overnight. There will be days when the monkey is particularly rebellious, flinging banana peels at the wall and cackling gleefully. Don't get discouraged. That's perfectly normal. Remember, it's a creature of habit, and it's used to having free rein in your mind, unchecked, unbothered, and utterly uncensored. Instead of scolding yourself when your mind wanders, allow a gentle smile to form. Ah, my monkey is once again performing its Worrying About What I Can't Control Act, a true classic. By doing this, you not only ease the pressure on yourself, but also cultivate a lighter attitude towards your thoughts. This isn't weakness, this is wisdom. Humor is a potent tool for releasing tension. It's hard for the monkey to feel truly powerful when you're subtly laughing at its absurd antics. It takes the emotional charge out of the situation, like deflating a balloon with a tiny silent prick. Another way to teach the monkey is through repetition. Every time you return to your breath or return to the present moment, you are reinforcing a new neural pathway in your brain. It's like walking a new trail. At first, it's rough and difficult to navigate, full of roots and hidden stones. But the more you walk it, the clearer and easier the path becomes. The more you practice Zen, the more you pay attention to your breath, the more you allow your mind to settle, the more domesticated your monkey will become. This isn't about brute force, it's about consistent, gentle redirection. Think of it as consistently guiding a puppy back to its bed. Eventually, it learns. Beyond the immediate techniques, understanding the nature of the monkey mind itself is key. It thrives on attention, especially negative attention. When you get angry at your thoughts or frustrated with your inability to stop them, you're essentially fueling the monkey with rocket powered bananas. It becomes stronger, more energetic, and even more disruptive. The trick is to become an uninterested observer. Imagine the monkey is performing its wildest acrobatics, but you, the audience of one, are just sitting there calmly sipping your tea, occasionally nodding vaguely. No applause, no boos, no emotional investment. The monkey quickly loses its motivation to perform. This observational mastery extends to your daily interactions. How often do you find yourself drawn into monkey mind conversations? Those circular arguments, endless complaints, or speculative worries? When you notice this happening, either in your own speech or in others, consciously choose not to engage. You can listen empathetically, but without letting the monkey mind's chaos infect your own. This isn't about being aloof, it's about protecting your inner peace. You wouldn't willingly step into a chaotic mosh pit if you were seeking tranquility, would you? The same applies to mental spaces. Consider the notion of mental decluttering. Just as you might clear out an overflowing closet, you can clear out the unnecessary thoughts and worries that accumulate in your mind. This involves asking yourself, is this thought serving me? Is it leading me towards peace or away from it? Is this worry something I can act upon right now, or is it merely future speculation? If a thought doesn't serve you, acknowledge it, thank it for its brief visit, and then gently release it. Imagine putting it on a tiny metaphorical cloud and watching it float away. The less clutter your monkey has to jump on, the calmer it becomes. When the monkey in your mind learns to calm down, you will begin to notice a miraculous shift. The internal chaos diminishes, the mental chatter quiets, and then deep sleep is no longer a struggle. It becomes an inevitability, a natural consequence of a mind at peace. The bed doesn't feel like a wrestling ring anymore. It feels like a sanctuary. Imagine an evening. You lie down in bed. Instead of the monkey launching its late night show, it's curled up docilely beside you, perhaps even dozing occasionally, letting out a tiny contented snore. You can feel your breath gently rising and falling, a smooth, effortless rhythm. And thoughts, if they come at all, merely drift by like wispy clouds on a vast blue sky, unattached, undisturbed. They don't linger, they don't demand your attention. Your body relaxes, every muscle softening, releasing the day's accumulated tension. The stress of the day dissolves like sugar in warm water, and you sink into a truly restorative, deep sleep, the kind that leaves you feeling genuinely refreshed, not just less tired. That's not magic. That's the result of your dedicated time and patience in taming your monkey mind. You've learned to be the conscious ringmaster, directing the show with wisdom and calm instead of letting a drunken monkey wreak havoc. You've become the quiet authority, the benevolent presence that brings order to internal chaos. Remember, this journey is an ongoing process. The monkey will occasionally act up again. It might try to sneak a banana from the fridge or do a little jig on your forehead. But now you possess the tools to deal with it. You can use your breath as a leash, your acceptance as the calming environment, and your humor as the gentle persuasion. Every time the monkey tries to pull you into a new vortex of worry, you can smile, gently reel it back in, and remind it that it's time for bed, or at least time for quiet contemplation. You're teaching it new tricks, and this time the tricks are for your benefit. The profound benefits of taming the monkey mind extend far beyond achieving deep sleep. It brings peace into every waking aspect of your life. It allows you to approach challenges with startling clarity, to fully savor moments of joy with unadulterated presence, and to live a life that feels genuinely full and free, not perpetually shackled by relentless, unnecessary thoughts. This is the gift that Zen offers, a crash course to transform your chaotic mind into a sanctuary of stillness and inner power, a quiet refuge in a noisy world. So take a deep breath and begin this transformative practice right here, right now, with just one mindful breath. After wrestling with the monkey mind and learning to leash it with your breath, you might be feeling a bit lighter. But let's be honest, we humans have a knack for replacing one burden with another. We're excellent at collecting things, gadgets, grievances, and most importantly, grand expectations about how life should be. And what happens when we cling to these things too tightly? We become like the rich beggar, a paradoxical figure who, despite possessing seemingly endless desires, remains perpetually impoverished in spirit. This section delves into the Zen concept of the empty bowl and the profound art of letting go of constant yearning, finding contentment, not in accumulation, but in radical release. Imagine a truly magnificent beggar, not your average street corner variety, but one with a designer rag coat, a bespoke begging bowl, and a meticulously crafted sob story. This beggar has everything a beggar could want: prime real estate under the city's busiest bridge, a direct line to the most generous patrons, even a small, highly effective marketing team. Yet every single evening, despite a bowl overflowing with coins and bread, he goes to sleep feeling utterly empty. What, because his mind is already focused on tomorrow's haul, on how much more he could have, on the nagging fear that his rivals might get a better spot. He's rich in possessions, but poor in peace. This, my friends, is us when we endlessly chase more. We're living in an abundant world, yet our inner bowl remains perpetually empty because we're too busy staring at the perceived emptiness rather than what's already within. Our society, bless its consumerist heart, is essentially a master class in creating rich beggars. We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we're not enough, don't have enough, or haven't achieved enough. Buy this car, wear these clothes, get that promotion, achieve that status. Then you'll be happy. Then your bowl will be full. It's a never ending hamster wheel of aspiration, and the moment we get one thing, our internal craving mechanism simply recalibrates to the next shinier, harder to reach object. This constant yearning, this relentless striving for more, is an energy drain of epic proportions. It siphons off your vitality, leaving you exhausted and dissatisfied, even when you've technically succeeded. Consider the absurd lengths we go to. We pile up achievements, like trophies on a shelf, hoping each new acquisition will finally fill that inner void. But the void remains, doesn't it? Like trying to fill a sieve with water, no matter how much you pour in, it just runs right through. The Zen masters, with their characteristic dry wit, would probably point out that if your happiness depends on having a bigger house, you're essentially outsourcing your joy to a mortgage lender. If your peace depends on the approval of others, you've handed the remote control of your emotional state to a fickle audience. That, my friends, is a recipe for being a very busy, very well equipped, but eternally empty beggar. This relentless pursuit of more manifests in various ways. It's the constant checking of social media for likes and validation, the nagging feeling that you need to be constantly productive, or the belief that your worth is tied to your net worth. These are all forms of attachment invisible chains that bind you to external outcomes, preventing you from finding peace right here, right now. This constant seeking makes deep, restorative sleep a near impossibility. How can your mind rest when it's perpetually running calculations on what it still lacks? It's like trying to get a good night's sleep in a noisy factory. The machinery of desire just keeps churning. Zen offers a radical, almost scandalous solution to this predicament, the empty bowl. No, it's not an invitation to embrace destitution, unless that's your path, and even then it's about the internal state, not the external one. The empty bowl is a metaphor for a mind free from the grip of constant craving, a heart open and receptive, because it's not already crammed full of desires and expectations. It's about cultivating contentment with what is, rather than perpetually agonizing over what isn't. The beauty of the empty bowl isn't its emptiness, but its potential. A full bowl can't receive anything new, can it? It's stagnant. But an empty bowl is ready. It's ready to receive nourishment, ready to be filled with the simple joys of the present moment, ready to be surprised by life's unexpected blessings. It's about letting go of the need for things to be different, the need for things to be more the need for your life, to conform to some preconceived notion of perfection. This concept flies in the face of conventional wisdom, which often equates success with accumulation. But Zen points out that true richness lies not in what you have, but in how little you need to be content. It's like a famous Zen story about a monk who owned nothing but a robe and a begging bowl. One night, a thief broke into his hut, but found nothing to steal. The monk, seeing the thief's disappointment, took off his robe and offered it to him. "You must have traveled a long way to visit me," he said. "Please don't go away empty-handed." The thief fled bewildered. The monk then sat naked, contemplating the moon, saying, "Poor fellow, I wish I could give him this beautiful moon." The monk had nothing yet. He was overflowing with generosity and contentment. His bowl was empty of possessions, but full of peace. So, how do you practically cultivate an empty bowl mentality in your perpetually overstuffed modern life? It's not about throwing out all your possessions and living in a cave unless you really want to. And let me tell you, cave internet isn't great. It's about cultivating an inner detachment, a gentle unclutching of your mental grip. Practice one, the "is this serving me" filter. Before you chase after the next big thing or lament what you don't have, ask yourself, is this yearning truly serving my peace and well being, or is it just the monkey mind throwing another banana? If a desire is causing you more stress than joy, it's probably not serving you. Let it go. This applies to possessions, relationships, even ideas. If an idea is making you anxious, perhaps it's time to set it down. Practice 2, the just this moment. Instead of constantly looking to the next thing, try to fully embrace the just this moment. This coffee, just this coffee. This walk, just this walk. This conversation, just this conversation. When you're fully present without comparing, without wanting more, without wishing it were different, a profound contentment arises. It's like realizing the symphony is perfect right now without needing an extra flute solo or a longer drum roll. That's a full bowl right there. Practice 3, conscious decluttering. This can be physical or mental. Pick one drawer, one corner of your digital desktop, or one nagging worry that constantly occupies your mind. Go through it. Ask yourself, does this bring me joy or utility, or is it just taking up space? If it's the latter, release it. The act of decluttering creates literal and metaphorical space for new energy to flow in. You'd be amazed how much mental bandwidth is freed up when you finally delete those 5,000 unread emails or donate that ancient exercise bike you haven't touched since 2003. How does this relate to deep sleep? When your inner bowl is constantly clanking with the noise of desires and expectations, your mind is a perpetual motion machine. It's working overtime even when you're trying to wind down. It's like trying to get a baby to sleep by constantly jangling a set of keys in its face. It just won't happen. But when you learn to gently empty your bowl, to release the need for control, to accept what is, to appreciate the simple gifts of the present, your mind quiets down. The frantic energy of craving dissipates. The nagging fear of not having enough or not being enough loses its grip. Your nervous system, which has been on high alert thinking it needs to constantly chase or defend, finally gets the signal to relax. Imagine lying down in bed, not with a mental checklist of tomorrow's demands or a replay of yesterday's perceived failures, but with a quiet sense of contentment. Your mind is like that empty bowl, receptive and calm. There's no urgent need to fill it with thoughts, no desperate craving for a different reality, just the simple, profound peace of being. This allows your body to sink into the mattress, your breath to deepen, and your mind to drift effortlessly into the realm of truly deep, restorative sleep. You're not fighting sleep, you're inviting it in. You're not chasing dreams, you're creating the space for them to unfold naturally. This is the ultimate luxury, the ultimate abundance, a mind so at peace that it can truly rest. It's richer than any gold, more valuable than any possession. The journey to an empty bowl isn't a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice. Our programming, our habits, our society, they all encourage us to fill, fill, fill. But with each conscious act of letting go, with each moment of appreciating just this, you chip away at those ingrained patterns. You are in essence becoming a spiritual minimalist, not in what you own, but in what owns you. This practice will transform not just your sleep, but your entire relationship with life. You'll find yourself less reactive to minor inconveniences, more grateful for simple pleasures, and more resilient in the face of genuine challenges. You'll realize that the true wealth isn't in adding more layers to your life, but in stripping away what no longer serves you, revealing the luminous peace that was always there, hidden beneath the clutter of desire. The humor in it all is that we strive so hard to gain, only to realize that true gain comes from letting go. We spend our lives building towers of perceived happiness, only to find the real foundation was beneath our feet all along, waiting for us to stop running. The empty bowl isn't a symbol of poverty, it's a symbol of infinite possibility, of a mind finally free to receive the boundless gifts of presence and peace. So take a moment now. Breathe in, and as you exhale, imagine gently tipping your internal bowl, letting all the clinging, all the yearning, all the unnecessary more flow right out. Feel the lightness and embrace the profound richness of being truly empty, truly ready. You've learned to release the endless grasping of the empty bowl, creating space in your mind. But what fills that space? Often it's not silence, but a cacophony. Imagine sitting down for a peaceful meditation, only to be assaulted by the distant blare of a bus horn, the incessant drip of a leaky faucet, or the sudden startling clang of a dropped pot in the kitchen. This isn't exactly the serene monastic experience you envisioned, is it? Yet Zen masters have long understood that true tranquility isn't the absence of noise, but the profound ability to find the sound of silence, even amidst life's most obnoxious symphony. It's about cultivating an inner quiet that calms an overactive mind, not by wishing the world away, but by radically transforming your relationship with it. We live in a world that thrives on noise. Our phones ping, our TVs blare, our streets hum, and our minds echo with a constant internal monologue, often a rather judgmental and anxious one. We're taught to fill every empty moment, commute without music, unthinkable, waiting in line without checking social media, madness. This constant external and internal clamor keeps our minds perpetually stimulated, making deep focus and truly restorative sleep feel like mythical beasts. It's like trying to listen to the delicate flutter of a hummingbird's wings while standing next to a jet engine. The subtle whispers of peace simply can't compete. Most of us chase silence as if it were a rare exotic bird. We dream of remote cabins, of soundproofed rooms, or perhaps a temporary retreat to a desolate island where the only sound is the gentle lapping of waves. And when we get there, oh, the disappointment. Because what we often discover is that true silence isn't merely the absence of external noise. No, it's the sudden terrifying amplification of the internal noise. The monkey mind, now deprived of external distractions, unleashes its full unholy symphony anxieties about the leaky roof regrets, about that embarrassing thing you said last Tuesday, brilliant ideas for a new business venture at 3 a.m., and a full-blown existential crisis all before dawn. It's a cruel joke, isn't it? You seek peace, you find louder thoughts. It's like finally getting to that quiet meditation retreat, only to discover the person in the next room snores like a freight train, and your own internal monologue is debating the socio-economic implications of said snoring. This is where Zen truly shines, offering a profound, almost mischievous truth. You don't need a soundproof room to find silence. You need a soundproof mind, and that's a whole different kettle of fish. This misconception that peace comes from external quiet is a monumental energy drain. We spend so much mental and emotional effort trying to control our environment, to escape noise, to find that perfect, pristine, undisturbed moment. But life, in its infinite wisdom, rarely obliges. It's perpetually messy, loud, and unpredictable. Fighting against this reality is like trying to hold back the tide with a teacup. It's futile, exhausting, and utterly counterproductive to your pursuit of calm. The stress of wishing for silence when noise is present is often louder than the noise itself. This internal friction keeps your nervous system on edge, making deep relaxation and sleep a distant shore. Our society, obsessed with productivity and always on, constantly reinforces the idea that noise is something to be avoided or filled. Headphones become our personal soundproof bunkers, yet the internal noise often remains now amplified in the supposed quiet. We yearn for quiet environments, but fail to cultivate quiet minds. This external focus distracts us from the true source of peace, which lies not in controlling the world's volume, but in shifting our internal listening. The irony is, the harder we try to force quiet externally, the more agitated our internal landscape can become, like a child who screams louder when told to be silent. This constant tension drains our subtle energies, leaving us feeling frayed and unable to truly disconnect even when the lights are out. Zen doesn't tell you to escape the noise. It invites you to embrace it, to integrate it, to find the sound of silence within the clamor. This isn't some mystical riddle. It's a profound shift in perception. It's about realizing that just beneath the surface of all audible sounds, there's a deeper fundamental stillness. It's the hum of existence, the vast empty space that allows all sounds to arise and pass. It's the silence between the notes of a symphony, the canvas upon which all colors are painted. Think of it like this. If you listen intently to the constant drone of traffic, eventually your ear begins to filter it. The specific rumble of a truck, the distant honk, the faint whir of a bicycle, these individual sounds emerge, but then they recede back into the overall texture of the city. Zen pushes this further. Instead of focusing on the individual sounds or trying to block them out, you notice the space within which these sounds occur. You notice the awareness that hears the sounds. That awareness, that underlying field of consciousness, is fundamentally silent. It's the sound of emptiness, the sound of being. This concept is beautifully captured in a famous Zen story. A student asks his master, "Master, what is the sound of one hand clapping?" The student is expecting a profound answer, a deep philosophical discourse. The master, with a twinkle in his eye, simply points to the rustling leaves outside, or perhaps to the sound of the wind, or even to the student's own breath. The point isn't to find a literal sound, but to awaken to the silence that allows all sounds. It's about listening beyond the obvious, tuning into the very fabric of existence. It's a call to profound, uneffortful presence. The sound of one hand clapping, the master implies, is the sound of awakened attention, fully present with the vastness of quiet that holds all experience. It's the sound of your own being unperturbed by the external world. So, how do you practically train your mind to find this profound sound of silence amidst the chaos of your daily life? You don't need to become a monk or sit under a waterfall, though if you can go for it, just don't forget the waterproof phone case. You start right where you are with the very noise that currently annoys you. Practice 1, the what else can I hear game. Next time a particularly grating noise occurs, maybe your neighbor's excessively enthusiastic leaf blower or that incessant drip, don't react with immediate frustration. Instead, simply make it a game. Close your eyes if safe and ask yourself, what other sounds can I hear, however faint, beneath this dominant one? Can you hear your own breath, the subtle hum of your refrigerator, the distant chirping of a bird, the sound of your own heartbeat? By broadening your auditory awareness, you de emphasize the irritating sound and you begin to notice the broader tapestry of sound and the silence that holds it all. It's like turning down the volume on the lead singer to hear the bass line. This simple shift in attention reclaims your energetic focus from the annoying sound and redirects it to a larger, more neutral field of perception, calming your nervous system. Practice 2, the sound as object, meditation. When a sound arises, instead of reacting to it as good or bad, simply treat it as an object of awareness. Notice its beginning, its middle, and its end. Does it have a texture, a frequency, a resonance? Don't judge it, don't cling to it, don't push it away. Just observe it like watching a cloud drift across the sky. The moment you stop assigning emotional baggage to the sound, it loses its power to disturb your inner quiet. It simply is. This practice gradually disarms the noise, turning it from an enemy into a neutral phenomenon. It teaches your mind that sounds are impermanent, transient, and do not require your emotional investment. This is the internal martial art of non resistance. Practice 3, the acceptance symphony. This is where you really lean into the absurdity of it all. Next time you're in a truly noisy environment, a bustling cafe, a crowded subway, a chaotic office, instead of fighting it, embrace it as a grand impromptu symphony. Acknowledge each sound as a note. The clatter of plates, the murmur of voices, the screech of brakes, all are part of this unique, unrehearsed performance. By accepting it fully, by letting go of the desire for it to be different, you remove the internal resistance that creates so much tension. You're not just tolerating the noise, you're becoming part of the flow, finding a strange, liberating peace within it. You're like the conductor of a cosmic orchestra, allowing all sounds to play without demanding they be silent. This radical acceptance frees up immense amounts of energy previously wasted on internal conflict. How does finding the sound of silence help you achieve deep sleep? When your mind is constantly agitated by external noise or worse by its own internal chatter about that noise, it's operating in a state of high alert. It's like having a hyperactive security guard who alerts you to every rustle of leaves outside. Your nervous system stays activated, flooded with stress hormones, making relaxation impossible. You can't truly rest when your internal alarm system is constantly blaring. But when you learn to cultivate that inner quiet, when you can hear the silence beneath the sound, that security guard finally gets the memo, all clear, stand down. Your nervous system calms. The relentless internal monologue about the noise dissipates. You are no longer fighting your environment, you are flowing with it. This creates a profound sense of ease and surrender. The internal static that prevents true relaxation is dissolved. Imagine lying down in bed. Perhaps you hear the faint sound of traffic outside or the creak of your old house. Instead of these sounds, triggering a cascade of frustrated thoughts. You simply notice them. You hear them, but you also hear the vast quiet space within which they arise. You realize that your awareness itself is silent, peaceful. This detached observation allows your mind to settle your body, to relax deeply, and you drift into a profoundly restorative sleep. The noises are still there, but they no longer have the power to disturb the silence within you. Your brain receives the signal that it's safe to power down, unburdened by the external world's symphony. This practice also extends to your internal noise, the random thoughts that pop up as you try to fall asleep. Just as you observe external sounds, you observe internal thoughts. You don't engage with them, you don't judge them, you don't try to solve them. You simply witness them as they arise and pass like those very same clouds in the sky. This non engagement is the key to letting your mind gently disengage from the day's events, allowing it to transition smoothly into the deeper stages of sleep where true healing occurs. It's like turning down the volume on your internal radio, not forcing it off, but just allowing the signal to fade into the background. The journey to finding the sound of silence is not about eliminating noise from your life. That's an unrealistic and frankly rather boring goal. It's about fundamentally transforming your relationship with noise, both external and internal. It's about realizing that true peace isn't found in a perfectly curated environment, but in a perfectly adaptable mind. This practice will empower you in countless ways beyond sleep. You'll find yourself less reactive to sudden disturbances, more centered in chaotic situations, and more capable of maintaining your inner calm regardless of what life throws your way. You'll move through the world not as someone constantly battling its demands, but as someone who understands and accepts its ever changing nature, finding stillness in the heart of its most vibrant symphony. You become a master of your own internal environment, capable of creating peace even in the eye of a storm. The humor, of course, is that we spend so much energy trying to avoid noise when the real treasure lies in learning to listen to it differently. We try to silence the world when we should be training our minds to hear the profound silence that permeates existence. It's the ultimate cosmic joke, and once you get it, life becomes a lot less noisy and a lot more peaceful. So take a moment now, listen to whatever sounds are around you, and then gently try to listen to the silence that makes those sounds possible. Feel that vast, calm space within. That, my friend, is your deepest sanctuary, always accessible, always available, even in the loudest of storms. This silence is not empty. It is pregnant with possibility of fertile ground for true rest and rejuvenation. You've learned to hear the profound silence that underpins all noise, a powerful step towards inner calm. But what happens when the very ground beneath your feet seems to shift? Life, in its infinite wisdom, rarely stays still. It throws hurricanes, both literal and metaphorical, at us. Promotions vanish, relationships fray, plans crumble. Our natural inclination is to resist, to brace, to fight against the current. Yet Zen offers a different path, one exemplified by the unassuming bamboo. It teaches us to become the bamboo and the wind, embracing life's changes with a resilience and grace that allows us to bend but never break, ensuring our inner energy remains fluid and strong. We're taught from a young age to be rigid, to stand firm, to resist. Don't let anyone push you around. Stand your ground. While admirable in certain contexts, This philosophy often turns us into brittle oak trees. When the gale force winds of change blow, a rigid oak might resist with all its might, only to snap dramatically in half, leaving behind a monumental mess and a profound sense of defeat. We cling to our comfortable routines, our carefully constructed identities, our meticulously planned futures as if they are solid, immovable mountains. And when life, with its delightful unpredictability, decides to reroute the river or simply move the mountain, we find ourselves in a state of shock, frustration, and utter energetic depletion. The sheer effort of trying to remain unbent against an unstoppable force is exhausting. It's like trying to win a staring contest with a tsunami. You're going to lose, and you'll be very, very wet. Think about how much energy you expend every day trying to maintain the illusion of control. You meticulously plan your day only for an unexpected meeting to derail everything. You invest emotionally in an outcome only for circumstances to pivot dramatically. Your rigid expectations act like internal armor, protecting you from uncertainty, but also preventing you from adapting. When life's inevitable changes occur, this armor becomes a heavy, suffocating cage. The stress of not being in control of things, not going according to your precise script, triggers a cascade of anxiety, resentment, and a profound sense of exhaustion. Your nervous system is constantly firing, preparing for a fight that cannot be won. This is the oak tree syndrome, standing firm until you shatter. We often pride ourselves on being rock solid or unwavering, but consider the hidden cost of this rigidity. It means we resist new ideas, cling to outdated beliefs, and struggle immensely when our carefully constructed world is challenged. It's like trying to navigate a whitewater rapids in a solid block of concrete. You might be strong, but you're going to get tossed, battered, and ultimately sink. Your energy, rather than flowing freely and adapting, becomes stuck, bound by resistance. This internal friction, this constant battle against the natural current of life, is a silent, insidious drain on your vitality, making deep rest an elusive dream. How can you truly relax when your inner self is perpetually clenching, bracing for the next inevitable shift? This rigidity manifests in countless ways. It's the person who refuses to learn new technology, fearing the unknown. It's the one who clings to a toxic relationship because it's familiar. It's the mind that can't let go of a perceived insult, replaying it endlessly. Each instance is a refusal to bend a stubborn insistence on things remaining static, and each refusal costs you energy, both mental and physical. Your muscles might subtly tense, your jaw might clench, your breath might shorten, all unconscious physical manifestations of your internal resistance. This constant internal bracing is profoundly exhausting, turning your inner world into a battlefield where the only casualty is your peace. The cumulative effect of this rigidity is a pervasive sense of fatigue, preventing the deep relaxation necessary for quality sleep. Zen, with its characteristic elegance, offers a profound alternative: the wisdom of the bamboo and the wind. The bamboo, seemingly fragile, is one of nature's most resilient plants. When the fiercest winds blow, it doesn't resist. It bends. It sways with the force gracefully yielding, sometimes touching the ground, only to spring back upright when the storm passes, often stronger for the experience. It doesn't break. It doesn't fight. It flows. This is the essence of embracing change with grace. It's not about becoming weak or passive. It's about becoming profoundly adaptable. The bamboo is not a pushover. It has deep roots representing a strong inner core and fundamental values, but its flexibility allows it to survive what would shatter others. It teaches us that true strength lies not in unyielding resistance, but in fluid adaptability. It's about recognizing that trying to control every external variable is futile, and the true power lies in mastering your internal response. Think about the sheer beauty of this dance. The wind representing the forces of change is immense and powerful. The bamboo, seemingly humble, engages with it, acknowledging its power, yet never losing its essence. It's a partnership, a negotiation, a flow. This perspective liberates an incredible amount of energy. Instead of battling reality, you begin to dance with it. And that, my friends, is a far more joyful and sustainable way to live. This isn't about being a doormat. It's about being a martial artist, using the opponent's force to your advantage. You're not fighting the current, you're surfing it. This fluid approach to life dramatically reduces internal friction and stress, creating a continuous, unimpeded flow of energy throughout your being. The bamboo's resilience comes from its inner hollowness, too. It's not solid like an oak, but open, allowing the wind to pass through it, not just around it. This is a metaphor for our own ability to let go of rigid expectations and assumptions, allowing new ideas and experiences to flow through us without clinging or resistance. When you're hollow in this sense, empty of preconceived notions and rigid demands, you become incredibly resilient. You're not trying to contain the universe, you're allowing the universe to flow through you. So, how do you practically cultivate the wisdom of the bamboo in your daily life? You don't need to go live in a bamboo forest, though I hear the acoustics are fantastic for inner monologues. You start by consciously choosing flexibility over rigidity. Practice one, though it is what it is mantra. When an unexpected change occurs, a flight delay, a project hiccup, a sudden shift in plans, your first internal reaction might be frustration or resistance. Stop, take a deep breath, and simply state internally or softly aloud, it is what it is. This isn't resignation, it's radical acceptance. It's the bamboo saying, all right, wind, I feel you. This simple statement deflates the emotional charge, allowing you to move from fighting reality to finding solutions. It conserves massive amounts of energy that would otherwise be wasted on fruitless internal arguments with circumstance. It's the ultimate energy-saving shortcut in a world determined to drain you. Practice 2, the what can I learn from this sway inquiry. Every time you encounter an unwelcome change, instead of immediately labeling it as bad or a disaster, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this bend strengthen me? What new path might this unexpected sway open? Perhaps that canceled flight gives you an extra day to rest. Perhaps that project hiccup forces a creative new solution. Perhaps that difficult conversation reveals a deeper truth about a relationship. By reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, you transform a potential energy drain into an energy gain. You become an active participant in your evolution, not a passive victim of circumstance. This inquiry transforms obstacles into stepping stones, not roadblocks. Practice 3, the soft edges approach. We often approach life with sharp, rigid edges, ready to cut or be cut. The bamboo, however, has soft, yielding surfaces. This translates to approaching interactions and situations with less defensiveness, less certainty, and more openness. Instead of immediately judging or asserting your opinion, try listening more, asking more questions, and allowing for ambiguity. This softens your internal posture, making you less prone to friction and more capable of flowing with the nuances of life. It reduces the need for constant internal bracing, freeing up tremendous emotional energy. It's about being permeable, not impenetrable. This softness is not weakness. It is a profound strength that allows you to absorb impact without breaking. How does bending like the bamboo help you achieve deep sleep? When your mind and body are constantly rigid, bracing for the next storm, your nervous system remains in a perpetual state of alert. You're essentially sleeping with your internal guard up ready to fight. This chronic tension, this constant internal resistance to change, creates a subtle but pervasive hum of anxiety in your system. It's like trying to sleep in a chair that's perpetually vibrating. Your muscles are tense, your mind is racing, and deep restorative sleep becomes a frustratingly elusive dream. But when you learn to embrace the wisdom of the bamboo, to flow with change, to accept unpredictability, to release the need for rigid control, your nervous system receives a profound signal, all clear, stand down, adaptability engaged. The internal clenching dissipates, your muscles soften, your mind, no longer battling reality, finds a deep sense of peace and surrender. The nervous system shifts from fight or flight to rest and digest, the ideal state for deep restorative sleep. Imagine lying down in bed, feeling the gentle sway of your internal being. Your thoughts, if they come, are like leaves rustling in a gentle breeze, acknowledged but not clung to. They simply pass. Your body, released from its rigid brace, sinks effortlessly into the mattress, every cell receiving the signal to fully relax and repair. You are at peace with the uncertainty of tomorrow and the impermanence of today. This profound sense of letting go, of yielding to the natural rhythm of life, allows you to drift into a profoundly restorative sleep where your body and mind truly rejuvenate, ready to bend gracefully with whatever winds tomorrow may bring. You are not fighting sleep. You are simply allowing it to carry you like a leaf on a gentle current. The journey to becoming the bamboo in the wind is not about avoiding the storms of life. That's impossible. It's about fundamentally transforming your relationship with those storms. It's about realizing that true strength isn't found in enduring the unendurable, but in adapting with fluid grace, finding resilience in every bend and peace in every sway. This practice will transform not just your sleep, but your entire life. You'll find yourself less reactive to minor inconveniences, more open to new opportunities, and more capable of navigating genuine crises with a quiet sense of inner knowing. You'll move through the world not as someone constantly battling its demands, but as someone who understands and accepts its ever changing nature, finding stillness and strength in the heart of its most powerful currents. You become the living embodiment of fluid resilience, able to navigate any landscape without losing your core integrity. The humor, of course, is that we spend so much energy trying to be immovable when the greatest power lies in fluidity. We try to be the rock when the true wisdom is to be the water flowing around obstacles, finding new paths, and carving beauty through persistence, not brute force. It's the ultimate cosmic joke, and once you get it, life becomes a lot less of a battle and a lot more of a beautiful, effortless dance. So take a moment now. Feel the invisible winds of change around you. And then gently imagine yourself as the supple bamboo, bending with grace, deeply rooted and utterly unbreakable. Feel that resilient strength flowing through you, ready for anything. You've learned to flow with the river of impermanence, releasing the heavy baggage of clinging. This is a profound step towards inner freedom. But now, let's talk about that tricky character we often meet in the mirror, or perhaps the one that whispers incessantly in our minds, the ego, or what Zen calls the false self. We spend an enormous amount of energy polishing, protecting, and projecting an image that often has little to do with who we truly are. Zen teaches us that our minds, when clouded by the ego, are like a dirty mirror, obscuring our true nature and draining our vitality. This section is about recognizing and playfully wiping clean that mirror, allowing your true, untroubled self to shine through and leading to a deeper, more authentic peace that fuels restorative sleep. We are all born with a pure, clear mirror, but almost immediately the world begins to smudge it. Our parents' expectations, society's demands, cultural norms, media advertisements, each leaves a little fingerprint, a smear of shoulds and must haves. By the time we're adults, our mirror is so covered in self doubt, comparison, and the desperate need for external validation that we can barely see our own reflection, let alone the clear, tranquil essence beneath. We then spend our entire lives trying to polish the smudges rather than realizing the mirror itself is still perfectly fine, just covered in dust. It's like trying to get a clear view of the moon by desperately cleaning your window from the inside while the dirt is actually on the outside glass. Utterly exhausting and wildly ineffective. The ego, in its most basic sense, is that constructed self, the story we tell ourselves and others about who we are. It's the he, I, that feels proud, inadequate, important, or offended. And it's a tireless performer. It demands attention, craves validation, recoils from criticism, and constantly compares itself to others. Think about the sheer volume of mental energy you expend each day on this grand performance. You worry about what others think of your clothes, your job, your opinions. You mentally rehearse conversations to ensure you sound intelligent, witty, or strong. You might even go to great lengths to avoid situations that could threaten your carefully constructed image. This constant vigilance, this relentless self monitoring, is a colossal energy drain. It's like carrying a heavy, elaborate costume everywhere you go, perpetually adjusting it, fearing it might slip or get stained. And for what? For the fleeting applause of a world that's often too busy wearing its own costumes to truly notice yours. This constant internal chatter about me, myself, and I is the loudest form of mental noise, far more pervasive than any bus horn. It's the hum of self importance, the whine of insecurity, the clang of comparison. How can you possibly find deep rest when your internal stage manager is constantly shouting directions, adjusting spotlights, and calling for curtain calls even in the middle of the night? Your mind is in a perpetual state of on, unable to power down and truly rejuvenate. Our societal conditioning, often without malicious intent, subtly encourages this ego driven existence. From school grades to social media metrics, we're taught that our worth is external, measurable, and dependent on how we stack up against others. This fosters a constant state of comparison and a deep seated fear of not being enough. This fear drives the ego's tireless efforts, leading to chronic stress anxiety and inevitably shallow, unsatisfying sleep. The ego, being a creature of validation, feeds on external feedback, constantly seeking affirmation, which makes it incredibly vulnerable. This vulnerability then drives the constant need to perform or protect, creating a vicious cycle of energetic depletion. Consider the classic example of trying to appear perfect online. Every photo is curated, every caption crafted, every comment agonized over. You spend hours creating a digital persona only to feel an underlying anxiety that it might not be enough or that someone will see through the facade. This is the ego working overtime, desperately trying to control external perception. This kind of effort, though seemingly productive, is profoundly draining. It's like building an elaborate sand sculpture, only to guard it fiercely against every wave, knowing it will eventually be washed away anyway. The effort to maintain it is far greater than the fleeting joy it brings. Zen offers a radical, almost disarmingly simple approach to this dirty mirror. It doesn't tell you to break the mirror, but to wipe it clean. And what's revealed beneath the smudges of ego is your true nature, often referred to as the uncarved block or original face, pure, clear, and perfectly complete as it is without any additions or subtractions. It's the inherent wisdom and peace that existed before the world told you who you should be. The concept of the dirty mirror is a powerful metaphor for our minds. The mirror itself is always perfectly clear. It can reflect anything without being affected. It doesn't cling to the image of a beautiful flower or reject the image of a withered leaf. It simply reflects. Our minds have this same capacity for clear, non judgmental awareness. But when our minds are cluttered with ego driven thoughts, I'm not smart enough, they don't like me, I need to prove myself, it's like putting a thick layer of dust fingerprints and even sarcastic sticky notes onto the mirror's surface. We then look at the mirror, see the smudges, and mistakenly believe the problem is us rather than the accumulated grime. Zen's invitation is to stop identifying with the reflections or the smudges and to simply be the mirror itself. This is a profound shift from being the character in the play to being the stage upon which all characters appear and disappear. This liberation from the ego's incessant demands frees up an astonishing amount of energy. When you stop trying to be someone you're not, when you let go of the need for external validation, you cease the exhausting performance. And in that cessation, a deep, authentic peace arises. You realize that your inherent worth is not something that can be earned or lost. It simply is. It's like the sun, it doesn't need applause to shine, it just shines. This allows you to relax into your natural state, a state of inherent completeness. The Zen masters often use the metaphor of a mountain solid, unchanging, majestic, regardless of the weather that passes over it. Your true self is like that mountain, while the ego is merely the changing weather. When you identify with the mountain, the weather no longer disturbs your core peace. This understanding brings a profound sense of security and unburdened vitality. So, how do you practically wipe clean this dirty mirror and reconnect with your uncarved block? It's not about destroying the ego, it's a necessary tool for navigating the world after all, but about putting it in its rightful place, realizing it's not the totality of who you are. Practice 1, the Who Am I Really inquiry. When an ego driven thought arises, a feeling of pride, shame, insecurity, or a need to prove something, pause. Take a deep breath and gently ask yourself, who is it that is feeling this? Is this my deepest truth or just a story I'm telling myself? Delve deeper. Who would I be without this thought, without this role, without this label? If no one was watching, would I still do this or feel this way? This inquiry isn't about finding a definitive answer, but about creating space between you and your ego. It helps you see the thought as a reflection, not the mirror itself. It's like stepping back from a painting to see the canvas beneath, or looking behind the curtain at the Wizard of Oz. Practice 2, the humor in the absurdity technique. The ego takes itself incredibly seriously. It's a drama queen, a tragic hero, or a self important know it all. And the best way to disarm a serious character is with a bit of good natured humor. Next time your ego feels bruised by a perceived slight or puffs itself up with unwarranted pride, gently acknowledge its antics. Oh, there goes my ego demanding an apology from the universe again. So dramatic. Or my ego is currently accepting its Nobel Prize for simply getting out of bed. Such ambition. By laughing gently at your ego's seriousness, you reduce its power, making it less likely to drain your energy. It's hard to stay puffed up when someone's giggling at you. This detached amusement disarms the ego's grip, preventing it from hijacking your emotional state. Practice 3, the non comparison challenge. Social media is the ego's favorite playground, a relentless parade of perfect lives designed to make your ego feel either superior or woefully inadequate. Consciously engage in a non comparison challenge. For a set period, an hour a day a week, refrain from comparing yourself to anyone else, their looks, their achievements, their possessions, their perceived happiness. When the urge to compare arises, gently redirect your attention to your own unique journey, your own inherent worth. Remind yourself, my path is unique, my growth is my own. This practice starves the ego of its preferred fuel, allowing your true self to emerge unburdened. You'll be amazed how much mental energy this simple act frees up. You'll be able to celebrate others' successes without feeling diminished, a true sign of inner liberation. How does cleaning the dirty mirror of the ego help you achieve deep sleep? When your mind is constantly consumed by the ego's performance, its striving, its fear of judgment, its need for validation, it is in a perpetual state of alert. It's like trying to sleep while constantly checking your reflection in a funhouse mirror, terrified of what distortion you might see next. The energy expended on maintaining this false self creates a chronic underlying tension, a mental hum that prevents true relaxation. Your nervous system remains subtly activated, unable to fully disengage from the day's drama. But when you learn to gently wipe away the smudges of ego, to see your thoughts as mere reflections, not your identity, to release the need for constant external validation, to embrace your inherent completeness as an uncarved block, your mind quiets down. The exhausting performance ceases. The fear of not being enough dissipates because you realize you already are. This profound sense of self acceptance and authenticity allows your nervous system to finally stand down. The mental chatter about self image status and performance ceases, giving way to a tranquil calm. Imagine lying down in bed, not with the weight of who you think you should be, but with the lightness of who you are. Your thoughts, if they appear, are observed without attachment, like clear reflections in a pristine mirror. Your body, released from the tension of constant striving, sinks effortlessly into the mattress. you are at peace with yourself exactly as you are, knowing your worth is intrinsic and unassailable. This radical self acceptance allows you to drift into a profoundly restorative sleep where your true self can rejuvenate, unburdened by the ego's demands, and your vital energy can fully replenish. The journey to cleaning the dirty mirror is not about eliminating the ego, it's about seeing through its illusions. It's about realizing that the stories it tells, while sometimes useful for navigating the world, are not the totality of your being. It's about reconnecting with the vast, clear, luminous awareness that is your true nature, the uncarved block that existed before any labels were applied. This practice will transform not just your sleep, but every relationship, every challenge, every creative endeavor. You'll find yourself less reactive to criticism, more genuinely connected to others, and more able to express your authentic self without fear. You'll move through the world not as someone desperately trying to maintain a facade, but as someone shining with effortless authenticity. Your interactions will become more genuine, your decisions more aligned with your true values, and your presence more impactful. The humor, of course, is that we spend our lives trying to become someone only to discover that true peace comes from realizing we already are perfectly complete. We strive to build an impressive external self only to find the real treasure lies in the simple, unadorned truth of our inner being. It's the ultimate cosmic joke, and once you get it, life becomes a lot less of a performance and a lot more of a beautiful, effortless dance of authentic being. So take a moment now, breathe in, and as you exhale, imagine gently wiping away any smudges on your internal mirror. Feel the clarity, the lightness, and the profound peace of your true, untroubled self shining through radiating, authentic, boundless energy. You've polished the mirror of your mind, seeing beyond the ego's smudges to your true, uncarved self. This clarity brings a profound sense of lightness. But what about those moments when life feels genuinely stuck, when you encounter an obstacle that feels like a massive boulder in your stream, completely blocking your flow? Our natural instinct is to fight it, to push, to exert immense force. Yet Zen, with its elegant simplicity, offers the wisdom of the stone in the stream. It teaches us not to battle the immovable, but to learn to release resistance and allow life's currents to find their way around, ensuring our energy flows unimpeded towards profound peace and restorative sleep. We are, in essence, rivers. Our life force, our energy, our time, it all wants to flow freely. But along comes a stone, a sudden illness, a career setback, an unresolvable conflict, or simply a stubborn problem that won't budge. Our conditioned response is to launch a full-scale assault. We bring out the mental bulldozers, the emotional dynamite, the relentless analytical drills determined to smash through the obstacle. We might ruminate for hours, replay scenarios, or get frustrated with ourselves for not fixing it. It's like a tiny creek trying to carve a direct path through bedrock with sheer willpower. Exhausting, isn't it? And often utterly futile. The creek gets dammed, the water stagnates, and life loses its vital, flowing energy. Think about the sheer amount of energy you burn trying to move the immovable. You fret over someone else's opinion, which you cannot control. You obsess about past events which cannot be changed. You try to force a situation to conform to your exact expectations despite overwhelming evidence that it won't. This constant effort to force reality to be different from what it is is a monumental drain. It creates a profound sense of internal friction, a clenching in your gut, a tension in your shoulders, and a persistent buzz in your mind. This is the boulder of resistance, and it blocks your natural energy flow, leaving you feeling weary, frustrated, and mentally exhausted. We're often taught that persistence means brute force, that overcoming obstacles means pushing harder. And while effort is vital, there's a critical distinction between active engagement and futile resistance. Trying to change what is fundamentally unchangeable is like trying to flatten a mountain with your bare hands. It's not just ineffective, it's self destructive. Your mind caught in this endless loop of resistance cannot relax. It's perpetually on, trying to figure out how to blast through the stone, even in the middle of the night. This chronic mental tension is a primary culprit in preventing deep sleep, leaving you feeling like you're running a marathon even when you're lying still. The irony, of course, is that the more we resist a problem, the more solid and insurmountable it often appears. Our focus on the stone makes it larger than life, overshadowing the vast open stream that still surrounds it. We become so fixated on the blockage that we forget the water can simply flow around it. This tunnel vision drains our creative energy and limits our perspective, keeping us trapped in a cycle of frustration. We exhaust ourselves in a futile war against reality rather than seeking intelligent detours. This mental wrestling match keeps your nervous system perpetually in fight mode, denying it the peace needed for true restoration. Consider a simple daily example. You're stuck in traffic. The stone is the unmoving line of cars. Your mind's resistance might kick in. This is ridiculous. I'm going to be late. Why did I take this route? You might clench the steering wheel, sigh heavily, feel your blood pressure rise. All this internal turmoil changes nothing about the traffic, but it drains your energy, makes you feel stressed, and perhaps even irritable by the time you reach your destination. This is the energy of resistance at work, a clear demonstration of how fighting reality creates more suffering than the reality itself. Zen offers a profoundly elegant and surprisingly effortless solution, the wisdom of the stone in the stream. The stream, observing a massive boulder blocking its direct path, does not get angry. It does not try to smash the stone. It doesn't lament the stone's existence or wish it were gone. Instead, with gentle persistence, it simply flows around it. It adapts. It finds a new path, perhaps carving a slightly deeper channel, perhaps branching into two smaller currents, but it never stops flowing. And over eons, that seemingly immovable stone might even be smoothed and shaped by the very water it once seemed to defy. This is the essence of releasing resistance. It's not about ignoring the stone or pretending it's not there. It's about acknowledging its presence, accepting its reality, and then consciously choosing to redirect your energy around it rather than against it. It's about realizing that your peace and well-being are not dependent on the stone moving, but on your willingness to adapt your flow. This radical acceptance frees up an astonishing amount of energy. The moment you stop fighting, you stop draining yourself. Think about the power of water. It seems soft, yielding, flexible. Yet over time, water can carve canyons through solid rock. Its strength comes not from brute force, but from relentless, adaptable flow. It teaches us that true power lies not in head on collision, but in intelligent, graceful circumvention. This perspective liberates you from the tyranny of what should be and anchors you in the liberating reality of what is allowing your life force to resume its natural, unimpeded flow. This isn't weakness, it's a profound, strategic mastery preserving your precious inner resources. The stream's wisdom also lies in its non judgment. The stone isn't bad, it's just a part of the landscape. When you approach your obstacles with this same neutrality, without labeling them as catastrophic failures, you strip them of their power to drain your energy. You observe, you accept, and then you pivot. This quiet, persistent adaptability ensures your energy remains flowing, constant, and ready for whatever twists and turns life's river may present. So, how do you practically embody the wisdom of the stone in the stream in your daily life, especially when faced with those frustrating, unmovable boulders? You don't need to become a hydro engineer. You just need to think like a river. Practice 1, the acknowledge and pivot technique. When you encounter a situation that feels like a dead end or an unresolvable problem, your first instinct might be to butt your head against it. Instead, pause, take a deep breath, acknowledge the stone. Okay, this situation is X. It's difficult. It might not change. Then consciously pivot your focus. Ask yourself, given that this stone is here, what is the next available path for my energy? What can I do even if it's not my preferred route? This redirects your energy from futile resistance to productive adaptation. It's like your GPS saying, detour ahead, instead of making you drive into a wall. This immediate redirection prevents the energy of frustration from taking hold. Practice 2, the perspective shift paddle. Often a stone appears massive because we are too close to it. Step back, gain some perspective. This might mean taking a literal walk, talking to a trusted friend who can offer an outside view, or engaging in a distracting activity for a while to let your subconscious work. From a distance, that insurmountable boulder might look like a manageable pebble, or you might spot a clear channel you missed. This shift in perspective is like using a paddle to guide your boat around an obstacle rather than trying to push the obstacle itself. It conserves energy and reveals possibilities. It allows you to see the forest, not just the particular tree that's annoying you. Practice 3, the acceptance of erosion, meditation. Some stones aren't meant to be moved immediately. They are there to teach you patience, persistence, and the power of gradual change. When you're faced with a long-term, unmovable obstacle, like a difficult personality you can't avoid, or a chronic condition, you must manage practice, acceptance of erosion. Recognize that, like the stream smoothing the stone, your consistent, gentle efforts over time can subtly change the obstacle, or more importantly, change your relationship to it. This takes the immediate pressure off, allowing you to flow with less tension and more ease, trusting in the cumulative power of small adaptations. It's like accepting that you can't instantly flatten a mountain, but consistent rainfall over millennia will shape it. How does learning to flow around the stone in the stream help you achieve deep sleep when your mind is constantly fighting, pushing, and resisting perceived obstacles? It's in a state of chronic high alert. It's like trying to sleep while your body is preparing for a wrestling match. The tension from this internal struggle keeps your nervous system revved up, making it impossible for your mind to disengage and enter the profound rest cycles necessary for rejuvenation. You're perpetually trying to solve problems that aren't solvable in the moment, draining yourself. But when you learn to release resistance, to acknowledge the stone, accept its presence, and consciously flow your energy around it, your nervous system receives a profound signal of safety and ease. The internal struggle ceases. The clenching in your body dissipates. Your mind no longer fixated on battling what is finds a deep sense of peace and surrender. The fight response powers down, allowing your body's natural restorative processes to take over. Imagine lying down in bed, not with a mental drill, trying to bore through tomorrow's problems, but with the quiet understanding that your energy can adapt flow and find its way. Your thoughts, if they arise, are like tiny currents effortlessly moving around any mental stones not getting stuck. Your body, released from its rigid posture of resistance, sinks effortlessly into the mattress. This profound sense of letting go, of surrendering to the natural flow of life, allows you to drift into a profoundly restorative sleep where your body and mind truly heal and rejuvenate, ready to adapt to whatever new currents tomorrow may bring. You become the master of your own internal flow, ensuring no external stone can block your path to peace. The journey to embodying the stone in the stream is not about avoiding life's challenges. That's impossible. It's about fundamentally transforming your relationship with them. It's about realizing that true strength isn't found in overcoming every obstacle by brute force, but in finding intelligent, graceful ways to maintain your flow, preserving your energy and your peace. This practice will transform not just your sleep, but every problem, every setback, and every interaction in your waking life. You'll find yourself less easily frustrated by things beyond your control, more resourceful in finding alternative solutions, and more capable of maintaining your inner calm regardless of external circumstances. You'll move through the world not as someone constantly battling against the tide, but as someone who understands and works with the immense power of life's natural currents. You become a fluid, adaptable force, unburdened by the need to control the uncontrollable. The humor, of course, is that we spend so much energy trying to move mountains when the real liberation comes from simply learning to flow around them. We exhaust ourselves in head on collisions only to discover that the path of least resistance is often the path of greatest wisdom and vitality. It's the ultimate cosmic joke, and once you get it, life becomes a lot less of a struggle and a lot more of an effortless, energetic flow. So take a moment now. Feel any stones in your path, any areas of resistance, and then gently imagine yourself as the flowing water, effortlessly finding your way around, nourishing everything in your path. Feel that profound, unimpeded energy moving freely. You've traversed the middle way, finding balance amidst life's extremes, recognizing that sustained peace comes from harmony, not intensity. Now, as our journey nears its gentle conclusion, we arrive at the culmination of all these practices, the awakened dream, integrating deep sleep with conscious awareness. This isn't merely about achieving a better night's rest, it's about transforming sleep itself into a profound pathway to insight, clarity, and a heightened state of being. Zen teaches us that the wisdom gained in stillness can illuminate not just our waking hours, but our dreaming ones too, ensuring every moment, conscious or unconscious, contributes to your vital, boundless energy. We often view sleep as a mere cessation of consciousness, a necessary but unproductive pause between our waking pursuits. We lose ourselves in sleep, hoping for oblivion from the day's stresses, only to sometimes wake up feeling just as tired, or even more so, because our minds have been restless even in slumber. We might be physically still, but internally the monkey mind might be running its own agitated marathon, replaying worries, battling imaginary foes, or generating anxiety inducing scenarios. It's like plugging in your phone to charge overnight, only to discover the charger was faulty and it actually drained more battery than it gained. Utterly frustrating and deeply counterproductive to true rejuvenation. Think about the sheer volume of mental activity that can occur during sleep. Dreams, often chaotic and emotionally charged, can leave us feeling disturbed even if we don't consciously remember them. Subconscious anxieties, fueled by the unseen web of stress we discussed, can churn beneath the surface, preventing deep restorative brainwave states. We go to bed hoping for a reset, but if our inner environment remains turbulent, sleep becomes a superficial escape rather than a true regeneration. This unconscious restlessness is a monumental drain on your energy. You might think you're resting, but your internal system is still working overtime, processing unresolved issues and perpetuating subtle states of tension. Our modern world often exacerbates this. The blue light from screens before bed, the late night news cycles, the constant mental stimulation, all these disrupt our natural sleep rhythms and keep the mind buzzing. We're taught to push through fatigue, to view sleep as a luxury rather than a fundamental necessity. This often leads to a cycle where insufficient or poor quality sleep leads to more stress, which in turn leads to even worse sleep, spiraling into chronic fatigue and diminished mental clarity. The irony is, we spend a third of our lives doing it, yet many of us treat sleep as an afterthought, an obligation, rather than a profound opportunity for healing and growth. Consider the brain dump that often happens right as your head hits the pillow. Your mind, which has been diligently working all day, decides that now is the perfect time to review every item on your to do list, relitigate every awkward conversation, and catastrophize about every potential future scenario. This mental to do list party is a classic example of the monkey mind throwing a rave just when you're trying to wind down. This hyper arousal, even when your body is tired, prevents your brain from entering the slower, deeper delta wave states necessary for true cellular repair and memory consolidation. It's like trying to get your computer to run a deep system scan while you're still opening a dozen tabs and streaming videos. The deep work simply cannot happen. Zen embraces the concept of the awakened dream, not in the literal sense of lucid dreaming, though that can be a fascinating byproduct, but in the sense of bringing a quality of awareness, peace, and integration to the entire sleep cycle. It's about ensuring that your mind, even in its most unconscious states, remains aligned with your core values of serenity and clarity. This means cultivating a state where dreams are less likely to be nightmares of anxiety and more likely to be channels for insight, and where deep sleep is truly a state of profound physiological and psychological restoration. This transformation of sleep begins with recognizing that the transition from wakefulness to sleep is a sacred threshold. It's not a switch you flip, but a gentle descent. Zen encourages us to view this descent as an opportunity for practice rather than just a passive shutdown. The awareness you cultivate during the day, the gentle leash you've placed on the monkey mind, the acceptance you've found for impermanence. These qualities don't just vanish when you close your eyes. They can and should accompany you into your slumber. The wisdom here is that your subconscious mind is highly receptive during sleep. If you flood it with anxiety and unresolved issues, it will work on those. But if you fill it with peace, gratitude, and an intention for restorative rest, it will work on those too. It's like leaving your garden, either to weeds or planting beautiful flowers, before you leave it for the night. The seeds you plant will grow. This conscious intention before sleep is a powerful way to prime your subconscious for deep healing and positive integration, transforming nocturnal hours into a period of profound self nurturing. Think of sleep not as powering off, but as recalibration. When you bring awareness to this recalibration, you're actively participating in your own restoration. It's like a skilled artisan tending to a delicate instrument. You wouldn't just throw it in a corner. You prepare it, you care for it, knowing that its performance depends on its rest. Your mind and body are the most exquisite instruments you possess, and they deserve this mindful care. This allows your deepest self to work its magic, clearing, consolidating, and rejuvenating without the interference of anxious thought patterns. So, how do you practically cultivate the awakened dream and transform your nights into periods of profound restoration and clarity? It's about consciously preparing your inner and outer environment for this sacred descent. Practice 1: the mindful wind down ritual. This isn't just about dimming the lights, it's about consciously signaling to your nervous system that the day's performance is over. For the last hour before bed, avoid screens that emit blue light, which disrupts melatonin production. Instead, engage in calming activities, gentle stretching, reading a physical book, listening to soft meditative music, or perhaps having a warm, non caffeinated drink. This deliberate transition calms the monkey mind, helping it settle down for the night. Make this ritual as consistent as possible. Your body and mind thrive on predictability. Consistency is key here. It signals safety and prepares your system for winding down, much like a child's consistent bedtime story. Practice 2: the gratitude and release meditation. As you lie in bed before trying to force sleep, engage in a simple meditation. Begin by recalling 3 things you are genuinely grateful for from the day. This shifts your mental state from lack or anxiety to abundance and peace. Then consciously release the day's lingering thoughts and emotions. Visualize each worry, each stressor, each unresolved task as a floating leaf gently drifting away. Breathe deeply, inhaling peace and exhaling tension. Set an intention for restorative sleep, perhaps simply by repeating internally, "I am ready for deep healing sleep." This process helps clear the mental clutter, creating a calm internal space for sleep, ensuring your subconscious works on positive inputs rather than unresolved issues. Practice 3: the conscious breath anchor, even in darkness. As you drift off, keep your attention gently tethered to your breath. Feel the rise and fall of your abdomen. If your mind wanders gently, bring it back to the sensation of your breath. This mindful awareness, even as consciousness fades, helps maintain a thread of peace and presence into your sleep. If you wake during the night, resist the urge to immediately grab your phone or ruminate. Instead, return to this breath anchor. Remind yourself, this is a moment for rest. I am safe. I will return to my breath. This prevents the monkey mind from starting its late night show and guides you back to sleep more quickly, allowing you to re enter deep sleep cycles rather than spiraling into wakefulness. The benefits of cultivating the awakened dream extend far beyond simply feeling rested. When you sleep deeply and consciously, your waking life transforms. You wake up not just less tired, but genuinely refreshed with a clarity of mind and an emotional equilibrium that might surprise you. Your energy is not just restored, it feels replenished from a deeper well, vibrant, and sustainable throughout the day. This quality of sleep allows your brain to fully process and consolidate information, leading to improved memory focus and problem solving abilities. It supports your immune system, enhances your mood, and strengthens your resilience to stress. You find yourself less reactive to minor annoyances, more patient with challenges, and more present in your interactions. It's as if your internal operating system has been thoroughly defragged and optimized overnight, ready to run at peak performance. Moreover, by inviting conscious awareness into your sleep, you begin to bridge the gap between your conscious and subconscious minds. Insights might arise more frequently, creativity might flow more readily, and you may find a deeper, more intuitive connection to your inner wisdom. Your dreams, if remembered, might feel more cohesive, more symbolic, and less chaotic, acting as gentle guides rather than confusing puzzles. They become a source of creative inspiration and deeper understanding rather than just random brain activity. This connection between your waking and sleeping self fosters a profound sense of wholeness and energetic coherence. The journey through the awakened dream is a testament to the holistic nature of Zen teachings. It emphasizes that every part of your existence, from the most active waking moment to the deepest unconscious sleep, is an opportunity for growth, peace, and heightened awareness. It's about realizing that true vitality isn't just about how much energy you have, but about the quality of that energy, how clearly it flows, how deeply it restores, and how purposefully it aligns with your authentic self. This practice transforms sleep from a passive necessity into an active, conscious act of self care and spiritual cultivation. It's about recognizing that the profound peace you seek is not separate from your daily life, but intricately woven into its very fabric, including the hours you spend in slumber. By embracing this wisdom, you become the conscious gardener of your mind, ensuring that even as you drift into the night, you are cultivating a field of tranquility and insight, ready to blossom anew with the dawn. This is not about seeking escape. It is about seeking integration. The humor, of course, is that we often search high and low for spiritual enlightenment, chasing after dramatic peak experiences, when one of the most profound pathways lies in the seemingly mundane act of going to bed. We try to be awake all the time, only to discover that true awakening happens when we learn to sleep with intention, allowing the deepest parts of ourselves to heal and integrate. It's the ultimate cosmic joke, and once you get it every night, becomes a gentle invitation to profound renewal and every morning a vibrant awakening to a life of boundless energy and peace. So as you prepare for your journey tonight, breathe deeply, release gently, and step consciously into the gateway of an awakened dream, knowing you are actively cultivating your most vital self. As our shared journey concludes, let the echoes of these ancient Zen teachings settle gently within you like morning mist upon a tranquil pond. You have explored the unseen web of energies that once entangled your peace and learned to leash the chattering monkey mind with the simple elegance of your breath. You've emptied the demanding bowl of constant yearning, finding true richness in the profound contentment of just this moment. You've discovered the sound of silence, not in the absence of noise, but in the vast underlying stillness that permeates all things, transforming chaos into a harmonious symphony. You've learned to bend like the resilient bamboo, gracefully swaying with life's winds of change rather than rigidly breaking. Like the floating leaf, you've practiced releasing the futile grip of attachment, embracing the transient nature of thoughts and emotions, and finding liberation in the effortless flow of impermanence. You've wiped clean the dirty mirror of ego, recognizing your true, uncarved self, luminous and complete. You've navigated around life's immovable stones in the stream, choosing adaptive flow over exhausting resistance, and walked the golden middle way, finding harmonious balance between extremes. And finally, you've stepped consciously into the awakened dream, transforming sleep itself into a profound gateway of restoration and insight. These teachings are not mere philosophy. They are practical invitations to a life of boundless energy, profound peace, and unwavering vitality. They remind you that the deepest wellspring of strength lies not in external circumstances, but within your own cultivated awareness and your compassionate heart. May the wisdom of these stories continue to illuminate your path, guiding you to ever deeper rest, clearer focus, and a life lived with luminous grace.